So what you're seeing here is the end product. This car arrived to me on a dolly about 7 weeks ago. It was painted, it had had its ash vinyl roof put on, and that was pretty much it. So this is 7 weeks of a fair bit of hard work that has gone into trying to get this done. The customer was looking to get it done pretty quickly, so I've accommodated them in that sense. There are a couple of small things that still need to be fine-tuned on the car, but the customer's going to go take that away and play around with a few of those things to make sure that they're happy with it. And of course, I want to get this car back once they've driven it for a while, because there will still be things that need to be adjusted and whatever. But look, this particular car has come on a very long journey. It's spent time in 3 panel shops before it came to me, and I managed to get it sprayed by the guys down at Hove Panel Works, who do a fantastic job. I do use around about 3 different panel shops to do my work, depending on what the customer's budget is. The customer also did the running gear and the front and rear end, so that saved them some time and money to get this together. But I wanted to get this together pretty quickly for them so they can go out and enjoy it, because I do have quite a few more cars coming. So what I want you to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy where all this started 7 weeks ago. And we'll go through some of the issues that I faced putting this car together, and some of the things that went together easy as well. But I think you're going to enjoy this part, because it's been basically a 2-month wait to get this car to where it is now, and now it's finished. I want to take you back to the very start so you can see what I got 8 weeks ago, and that's a very quick turnaround time to reassemble a vehicle. So pretty proud of myself, but I'm never really happy until I know that the car is completely finished. And there are a couple of small things on this one that will still need to be done, so I'm looking forward to it coming back, and there might be a follow-up video on that as well. Anyway, enjoy the next part, which is going back to the start. Welcome back to Worthy Restorations. I am actually going to start doing some work on this one over here, because the one that I'm actually working on at the moment is waiting on some parts, and I sort of just work between the two cars when I am waiting on parts. However, all the parts for this blue one pretty much reconditioned, and they're sitting here. So what I'll be starting on today is probably the front bumper, grille, headlight surrounds, headlight buckets, and then start working my way to the inside of the car. I want to do the roof lining. There's not many people that do the roof linings on these cars anymore, and I've learned to do them myself. Just take my time, get it done right. And what I want to do is get that roof lining in, and then start working on the electrics of this car, get it all into the bottom of the floor pan, and then I'll put the carpets over the top of that, and then I can start rebuilding the rest of the interior. But a unique car. This one was made in the 12th month 73 and sold in 1974. It's one of the very, very last ones that was sold to the public, and it's a unique trim and combo. That was for an LJ. That's this model here, LJ Torana, this particular color, and that was an LC color. It did go into the LJ. That was a Loner Ranger color, and that is an LC, because you can tell the differences, especially with the rear tail lights. That one has the rear reflectors, and that one doesn't. So a lot more differences between the LC and LJ, but it's basically the same model of car. So what I'm looking today to do is to get those bumpers on that front end on, and get the roof lining. So you can be part of this journey. Keep watching and you'll see how I get it done. Bare engine bay of an LJ GTR, and this is obviously what it looks like before it gets reassembled. So you get a pretty good idea of what I'm starting with. It's a blank template. This car's obviously had a full restoration as well. So rotisserie restoration, it's basically like brand new, if not better than new. I will be putting in the front bar and the headlights, surrounds, and the grille today, but it's important to note that I'm also going to be putting in these here, which are all the brake lines, and you can see that they're a nice re-zinced kind of look. They're almost like a stainless steel look. They're made by LJ Restorations, who happens to work next door to me here. He builds the Fords, and I will give you a tour of that shop one day. But for now, I'm going to keep on cracking on with this car and getting everything that needs to be done on that front end done today. It's an important step because I need to make sure that I'm working from pretty much the front back. And once I've got that on there, then I'll get into the roof lining and everything else that needs to be done. Tighten up the bolts on the front bumper now, so I've basically done them all, but I've just their finger tight at the moment, so I've got to tighten up. It's the last thing I've got to do. Correct bolts holding it in the front here. Got your light buckets in. Headlight surrounds just sitting there until we can order some headlights. Got to find some, which I need some Lucas ones for a Torana. I'm going to have to solder in the wiring for the indicators. I'll get there. Got your booster in as well. And also got all your brake pedal box in, all up underneath there. So still got to do a bit of work to connect those in. I've got to put in the rod that goes in for the brake to master, and that's also for your clutch rod as well. Okay, so this is about day 3.5, day 4 of working on this car. Obviously put the front and rear end in, so it's sitting on its wheels. I've got the front electrical in, I've got the front grille in, front bars, horns, most of the brakes and the pedal assembly. Today I'm actually going to be doing the rear bumper, which is sitting in this wrapping here. I'll put the GTR badge in on the back because I've got those, and I will also put in the wiper assembly. And wiper assembly is never easy. I've actually got to fit it in through here, in this area in here, and you'll see some bolts, holes that are sitting up around. It's up the top anyway. But got to get in there, and then I've got to get the wiper motor in before I can put the heater box in. Everything in these cars goes in order, and you've got to realise that I'm replicating a full production line, so I've got to do things in sequence, in order, and make sure that I don't stuff it up. And I've also got to test it and trial fit it before I actually finalise putting it all in there. So we're going to crack on with this today and get that rear bar on now. Getting ahead of myself here, before I even put the rear bar on, I've actually got to put the bars for the actual boot that hold the boot up in the car, and that is never easy. So they're sitting over here. I don't know why people take them out, but anyway, the bars are sitting, where are they? Well, this is all the gear that's still going to go back into that car. I'm going to be putting in the fuel tank as well today, but I've got to put the bars in. I do have them somewhere, but when I do find them, I'll be putting them back into the car, and then that way the boot will stay up. Right now, there's just nothing to support it, so those springs have to go in. Okay, so you're inside the boot of the car. I'm just standing here at the moment. I need to get these clips in to these specific positions in here with these bars. That sits up on that angle there. That connects into it. when I get it up there. But I have this special handy tool which fits over the end of your torsion rods, and that way you can bend them back and get them up to connect in there. That's on, so that fits over the edge there, and you push it back while holding this back part here, pulling it down, and then it'll click into place. See how putting in that is a lot better option than putting in that. All saves time. All the parts are up here ready to go. That's where I turn these cars around quick. Righto, today is door day, so I'm going to be putting all of these doors back together on the left and right hand side of the vehicle with the parts that need to go in there. I also need to build the frames. Come with for a walk with me over here. These are the frames over here, quarter frames. And I'll rebuild these, put all these back together, put the quarter windows in, and then start fitting them into the door and getting the windows in. And then hopefully, by the end of the day, getting the door cards on so that I finish these doors. But I've got to do a lot of work around rubbers, seals, mechanisms, and there are some parts missing, so hopefully I've got them. But let's just watch what happens next, and that's where you come into it. Keep watching. Door assemblies, probably about a quarter of the way through the job. So I've got the strikers on, I've got the latches on the outside and inner side of the door put in, I've got the door handles in, I've got the door check straps so the door can actually open to specific angles and not hit the A-pillar of the car. It's very important that, especially if these cars have had bodywork, that part of the door there doesn't hit the A-pillar there, because if it does, you're going to chip the paint off here, and then you've got to blend in the whole door. It's a really expensive exercise trying to fix that. So the number one thing is, especially when I'm putting in the roof line's going to go in on Monday. I don't want to have the door swinging all the way open when I'm getting in and out of the car and accidentally take off some paint. So it's important that I get this done now. Next protocol is I'm going to put the door lock in. I'm actually using the original door locks because he's got the original key. But the issue that you've got with these door locks is that paint is way too thick and you'll never get the door lock in. You need to get a file, but file like that, pushing it in, not backwards and forwards, but just push it in, take it out and push it in. If you do it that way, you're not going to take any paint off around here. Yet again, you don't want to scratch these cars. They've had really expensive paint jobs. And just on paint jobs I've seen range from $15,000 to $80,000. It all depends on what you want to get done. If you want a rotisserie rebuild, if you just want a closed door respray, basically the condition of the car is everything. So, you know, it just really depends on what you want to spend. Adds to a new boot lock, and got another key because the keys that were supplied didn't work. So that's all in, and also all the correct things underneath. That's all correct. Doors, got the catches on, got the striker assemblies in, got the handles on, got the original door locks in, got your door check straps in on this side and also on the other side, plus the new pins. On this particular side I've got the door rubber on. Got to do a little bit more work to just flex it a bit and get it in there because it's not the world's greatest rubber. These are the old rare spare rubbers, these ones, and they're not as good as the new ones, so they take a bit longer to fit. I'm not going to shut that because it needs to be glued down the bottom there. And then starting to assemble the quarter window front. So today I'm continuing on with the door assembly on the blue LJ GTR, and I need to build up these quarter windows. I have the correct parts, but I've disassembled the quarter windows, the old ones that were here, and gotten the parts out of here because there's new ones that I can use in its place. And I do have remade quarter window screws. They're all sitting in there, so I'm going to put these together and then get this one into the right hand door, finish off the right hand door, start to get it to shut properly, and then leave that door for a few days because the rubbers need to bed in. So we'll crack on with that today, and then I'll get on from this side, I'll get onto the other side. But before I finish everything off, I want to get the door trim on that driver's side so I can see how everything's starting to fit. So this quarter window is now assembled, and I need to get this over here into here. Now before I do any of this, I actually need to put in a quarter window filler, which you'll see me do, and then I've got to get that quarter window in without scratching any paintwork. And that's not easy, but see how that flexes? Like that. You've just got to flex it open and be careful not to scratch any of the paintwork and get it in. You can watch me do that now. Trimming they've done at Winners, which is fine, right? But the only issue is that there's a lip underneath here, in there, that your weather strip needs to go on. And I can't put that on while they've got all this here. I've got to somehow pull all of this off, cut it, and then get to this lip underneath here so I can put the weather strip on. That lip there. I've had to run a line across there and there so I can then put this weather strip on because it's only got such a tiny little clip. So there's too much vinyl on there, so I've just put some tape on here and then run a blade across it and left enough room so I can get this weather strip on, because once it's done, the weather strip sits like this. But it needs to have that clip to sit on. So weather strip will sit like that. When they do the trim, they don't cut out enough of the trim for me to put the lugs in, so a lot of work on that one. Door handle, inner door handles are in, window liners in, windows sitting in there, quarter windows in, but just sitting there at the moment because I need to get these seals in, front and rear, and I actually don't have the clip for these. I've got to get some from Rare Spares tomorrow. So slow, painful work, I'll be honest with you. It's not moving as quick as what I'd like it to be, but you know, I'm just encountering issue after issue. So I'll keep cracking on. Hopefully by tomorrow, I finish both doors and got your stainless trims on. much of a difference that makes putting those completely refurbished stainless trims on. These make all the difference. Gap just up here where the strip will butt up against the quarter window, but I'm not worrying about that yet. What I'm doing is I'm lining it up, and if I can just pop this light out for a sec, you'll see that I've got this tool here. If I just open up just a little bit, you'll see in there, just there, it's got like an edge on it. I actually insert these clips here, these clips, just pull them apart. I line up the rubber with the very lip inside, and I'm just pushing these up gently. There's 4 that need to go up. The key to it is to have the car up on a hoist so you can reach it properly. Otherwise it's almost impossible to do. Just to get this in properly, and that lip has to sit over there. Now you've got to put your inner felts in, but these are really easy. You just put your hand in up through here and clip them in. You can just use your thumb and just push up to the 4 clips that hold it in. Okay, this cyan blue one is progressing exceptionally well. It's fought me a lot of the way with the door, especially the driver's side door, because I had the door skin replaced. So I've managed to get it all reassembled now, get all the polished stainless trims back on, get the mirror on, all the internals of the door in, and even got the stainless moulding for the rear put back on for the vinyl roof. So yeah, this thing's probably going to come up a little bit better than I first thought, now that it's coming together. Tomorrow will be the roof lining. I'll put that in, and then I will work my way to the other side of the car to do the other door, and then the carpets, then the seats, and it's nearly finished as a roller. So putting this roof lining in, there's only about 12 cuts that you actually need to do, especially around the corners. And you can see that it's getting there. I've still got some work to do on the back here to get it taut. But once I've done that, I'm going to get that front window in so it seals and it just stays in there. You get an idea of how tight the roof lining is. I've just got to finish off the back. So now that the window's in at the back, I need to, and I've still got to put the, I've got to just build the windows for here because they've come back from the panel shop from being sprayed, and then I need to fit them in there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fitting the stainless trims here. Unfortunately, this door's had a new skin on it, so it has no holes for me to put the clips in for the stainless trim, so I have to drill those. It's always fun drilling into new paintwork, but I'll get that right. I'll do that one a little bit later, but I'm actually going to get these ones off here. So this is the time where I start fitting all the interior to this car, and it's a really specific colour. It's an ash colour. It was actually a 1973, 1974 colour that came out for this car and a few other models after that. So it's quite unusual to find this this unique combo. Actually, I've never seen one with the roof that colour and also the interior this colour and the body colour. So it's pretty much one of one. We've got some door trims here that have come from Winners. They do a fantastic job. They're here in South Australia. They do a great job of putting these door trims together for me. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually just putting the clips on the back. All these clips need to be bent out and then put into their respective holes. You've got to know where they go. Luckily I've done enough of these so I know that I can put them in right the first time. And then from there I will put the back seat in, which is sitting over here, and put the seat base in, and then work my way into the front of the car with the carpet. There's a few things that I still need to grab regarding the carpet on this car. So there's a few things over here in this area here that I'm gonna have to do before I put the balance of the carpet in. But you'll see that as I go. Right now, the important part is I've got all the seat belts in. I need to start finishing off the roof lining and getting that nice and taut, just around where the seat sits. So you're about to see all that happen right now. Busy day today. Underlays in, carpet's cut. I still need to put all the holes in for the seat belts. Test fitting the seat, which is a good thing. I've noticed that Winners have put the ashtray in the wrong way. It's upside down, so that trim has to come back off, and I've got to turn it around so that it operates properly. Unfortunately, with this seat, you can see that there's a bit of a crease along there. That is because at the base of your seat, there's meant to be some mounting brackets and they're not there. Somebody cut them off on that side and that side, which is on the body of the car. So I don't know what happened there, but I'm gonna have a think about it, play around with it. I should be able to get that crease out. I've just got to figure out how to do it. Ron, remember I also said that getting the seat moved back a bit further, which is coming back. So you can actually see the gap is nowhere near as big as what it was before, but I still need to move back just a little bit more this way. So this is just the test fitting phase. Got all your seat belts in the rear and got the mounting brackets on for the fronts. Tomorrow I'm going to put the underlay in there in the front, cut everything out because there's a million holes that need to be cut out for here, reverse switches, dip switch, etc. Then fit your carpet properly. So once I get to that stage, then I can start looking at, I've got to still install your heater controls, the wires that go in, and that's a nightmare. You've got to drop that down again, and then I can get the steering wheel in and the dash. All right, so that back window, quarter window's in, so it looks like a complete car now. That door is still obviously not sitting right, and that's because of the rubber. You can see the distance in the gap here, it's too low, so the door needs to come up, but also need to probably replace that rubber, because if you look at the top up here, it's down a little bit. It is meant to be down just a bit, but not that far down, so that'll move up more in line with this door here. But the gap, because I've been digging around with this, the gap is good the whole way through the door. This will need to come out again, and I'll just need to adjust the seal around here as well. But you know, a lot of it's about fitment, bending these things here, making sure they're all straight, making sure you've got enough room at the back here for when the door opens, doesn't hit anything. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm not too fussed about this door. I'll worry about this later. But you know, when I take that rubber off, I'll adjust it and get it right up to the right height, and then probably replace it with a newer rubber. See how we go there. Anyway, the other one goes in tomorrow morning. And what am I going to do? I'll probably just crack on with the other side door and then get back into the inside a bit later on. Okay, next day working on this car. It's now the passenger side. Needs to be built up for the door trim, rear quarter window, all the internals into the door, which is a job I just really don't like doing. And making sure that once I get the door rubber on, that everything shuts properly. So on that side at the moment, I haven't had a great time with that door rubber. It's an older rare spares one, which I think is the issue because they weren't great, the older ones. So I've got to put a new one in, but I'm going to put everything together on this door here so that I can then see how it shuts. and start working towards getting these doors shutting properly. Next thing is I'm going to put that engine in, sitting over there, that one. That will be tomorrow. And I'll get back on with finishing off the interior. So what you're seeing is about the third week now of putting this car back together. So you would have had step-by-step processes that have taken place to get the car to where it is today. I've got the engine in this week, but now that that's in, I'm going to leave the running gear. I'm not going to put the gearbox in or the tail shaft or anything else underneath until I get to underneath, which is the brake lines and the fuel line. I'm getting the fuel line up and some other bits and pieces, so that can wait. What I'm going to do is keep on going on with the interior now. I've actually finished most of what I need to do around the back of the car. So I've got the taillights in. The bezels have gone off to be painted, so they're at the panel shop at the moment. And pretty much everything's in there now. The only thing I have to do is just connect the fuel sender and then put the spare away. But you can see that everything's in there. All the wiring looms in there. That's pretty much nearly finished. I've got the boot rubber in. There's pretty much everything's done on that side of it. So I'm just working my way back through the interior. Doors together. What I'm going to do is I'm just putting the seat belts in. I've got the hooks in. I'm going to put the other covers on the top of the seat belts here because they're missing that. And then I need to pull the seat out just to adjust it a little bit further back. It's still sitting, I'm not happy with it sitting a little bit too far forward, so I just need to adjust the frame slightly. And unfortunately, because these panels for the door cards went off to a different supplier, they put them in with the cigarette ashtrays in there, but unfortunately that side's undone, so I have to pull this seat out from the base anyway to get to the back, pull that out, and then take that off and swap it all around. So, you know, from here, after I've done all that, it will be finishing off the carpet in the front, make sure all the wiring's in there and it's correct, putting all the seatbelt holes in, and then starting to put final fitment of the seats in. I will only put the passenger seat in at the moment because I've still got a fair bit of work to do underneath here, and I like to lie underneath there just to get to the clutch pedals, which are sitting over here. The clutch assembly parts, there's still some bits and pieces that need to go in here. So, you know, I've got accelerator rod, I've got the eyelet for your clutch pedal, brake pedal switch, which needs to be blasted and painted. There's a few bits and pieces that need to happen there. So, you know, now this car, even though it's sort of starting to look resembled, it's still got a lot of test fitment stuff in there that needs to be done for final fitment. And I'm only going to do that after I've tested the electrics. And that part's coming pretty soon. However, I will be taking this dash out so I can fit the heater controls. They're still not fitted on that at the moment, and the heater controls need to go up and underneath the car so that they will start working. So a few things are just sitting there at the moment, but You know, that's why when you build these cars, you don't want to put them all together and think that it's all done and then away you go, because it just doesn't work like that. There's lots of things that either fail or aren't fitted properly or are missing bits and pieces, so it has to come out again. That's why I always test things. So anyway, this is around about 3 weeks full time, roughly, putting this back together. That rocker cover will actually go off for rechroming at some stage. It's just that they've got a really big backlog at the moment, so we're just going to run with that. And this particular engine here is a late 202. It's got a black air filter on it. I know a lot of people think that it's meant to have a chrome one, but this is very late, so they didn't have that. Late 73, so first registered 74, and that's why there are some bits and pieces on this that people might go, well, that's not right, but it's actually correct. This is how the car came out of the factory. So the pedal box is now in this GTR, this cyan blue GTR, and obviously got all the brake components in. A lot of people wonder how to get this up. Take this out of the way. That in there without having to tie it together and then cut the metal wire. And the simple answer to that is that when you install your pedal box, this thing here has a couple of bolts there, one at the back. Leave the bolts hanging down so you've got room. Then you just put that spring clutch, clutch spring in the pedal assembly area, and then just tighten it up and it brings it tight. Just a handy trick. I'm really happy with this car now because it hasn't been fighting me when it comes to electrics or even underneath putting the brake lines and everything else. But you know, this gives you a lot more of an idea of what the car is going to look like as we're coming around the home straight to have this thing finished. And as far as electrics are concerned, I've now got ignition lights, I've got dash lights, headlights, rear tail lights, and indicators, even though I've still got some negative earth issues, which is cool. And I've got the other side as well. Well, anyways, negative earth issues at the back there. I haven't earthed out the rear tail lights yet. You can see that. That's how you know with the Torana whether you've got a negative earth issue on your indicators, is when that light stays on. And headlights dip down, which look good. You can see that there. Cool thing is, cigarette lighter works. And just make sure the wiper washer works. Yep. Oh. Cool. lots of things are starting to work. Put that in. Oh, there you go. And that's, if you turn the lights on, it'll stop the indicator working because there's a bad earth. But if you turn the lights off, the indicator will work on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So I just got to work my way through some of these earths. I've earthed out the dash as well. Always earth out the dash. We've got all the gauges now connected, bar the fuel gauge. So, yeah, looking good. The gearbox, shifting knobs there. So tomorrow is putting all this last bits of stuff in, doing the interior, gearbox in, fluids in the diff and gearbox, and then obviously finish off that front end and bleed the brakes up and start it. Not all that will happen tomorrow, but most of this should be all. Okay, I've put all this car together. Clutch is in, gearbox is in, tail shaft's in. I've just got to put diff oil in it, do the brakes, put the seats in it, and a little bit of interior trim. That's it. It goes off for its exhaust. It's done. This car's actually got 2 days left to go, and I should have it on the road. So it's going off to its exhaust shop tomorrow to get the exhaust put on it. I'm going to finish off today. If you have a look behind me, I'll be finishing off the brakes and the front end. The front end's all over the place. It's just got a lot of adjustments that need to happen. Some things we put on incorrectly, including, if you see over here, the actual calipers are around the wrong way. So if the calipers are around the wrong way, they're not much good to me. I've got to get the brakes working. I've also got to get this last handbrake in. So this handbrake, if we have a look over here, is not actually connected in at the moment. And so that way I can get all the brakes up. And then I'm going to solder up the reverse wires and it'll go off for the exhaust. And that will be running through here tomorrow. So bit to do, tighten up the steering column, got to put the shockers in properly, change the brakes around. So there's a fair bit that I'm going to sort out today and get this pretty much nearly finished. There'll be some other work that needs to happen when the car returns. We're going to drive it, let it sit for a while, check for any leaks, keep on checking, let it sit again. It's difficult because once these cars are actually finished, they're never quite finished because things always go wrong with them. There's still 54-year-old parts in them, and it's obviously had a full rebuild, and you want to make sure that everything is adjusted properly. So we'll get that front end sorted right now and get those wheels sitting on the right angle, because right now the camber's all over the place. You probably can't see it, but it is. I'm happy with how this car's together. A couple of small adjustments, and there will be more once it gets driven. There'll be some other issues that will pop up along the way. Just got to work that part out. But that's why I get a little bit paranoid about letting the cars go until they've been fully test driven. But you get a really good view of how the underneath of this car's come together. I'm just going to put the clutch inspection plate back on, but everything else is pretty much buttoned up here. Take it for a drive. Start testing a few things, see how she ends up. running fine now. Don't know why, it's just clear. Well, I do, because I played around the carby, but anyway, it wasn't changing gears well, it wasn't accelerating well, but it had some crap in the carby, adjusted the timing, and it seems to be running really, really well. Beautiful little car.